Now we
Thank you.
move on to Dr. Subina Narang, who will be sharing how to recognize treatment requiring or referral warranted ROP. Dr. Subina, please could you share your screen?
Hmm. Uh, One second. Thank you, Diksha. I would take this opportunity of thanking my teacher, my mentor, my guide, Professor Dogra, on Teachers' Day. Sir, I really owe a lot to you, and thanks for guiding me into this beautiful world of ROP. Thank you so much, sir. And thank you, Diksha, for giving me this wonderful talk. The pertinent topic: how to recognize treatment requiring or referral warranted retinopathy of prematurity. We know that India has highest number of preterm babies to the tune of 3.5 millions, and of them, around 2 lakh per year are the babies which require screening for ROP. We know that only 10% of the screened babies would require treatment of ROP, and each baby would require repeated visits before reaching the stage warranting treatment of ROP. Then, after the ROP is developed, we wait for the maturation of the retinal vessels and ROP to be regressed. So there are repeated visits, and there are limited number of ROP trained ophthalmologists in this country. Thus, we need to share this burden with comprehensive ophthalmologists. There's a definitive role of comprehensive ophthalmologists to recognize the treatment requiring ROP and referral warranted ROP. And to understand what requires treatment, they need to understand the language of ROP, which is in terms of zones of ROP and stage of ROP. Just recapitulating, we know that retinal vasculature starts development at 4 months of gestation, and then it reaches the nasal ora serrata by 7th month and temporal ora serrata by 9th month. And if the baby is born premature, the vascular growth is hampered in between, and then we have development of ROP because of lots of factors which have influence on development of ROP. If these babies are referred well in time, we could save blindness in these babies. Screening of ROP has been highlighted by Dr. Ajay already. I would not be touching on that. There are various ways you can screen the ROP. The doctor screening the ROP has been practiced by all of us using 20D and indirect ophthalmoscope. Nowadays, telescreening has come up using RedCam or other retinal cameras which are there. Now, here I would like to highlight that once you are doing telescreening, you must have at least 5 images of the patient, which is extreme nasal, temporal, superior, inferior, and central, so that you can visualize as much of retina as possible and try to see which type of ROP you are dealing with. To determine that, you need to see which zone and stage of ROP it is. Briefly telling about the zone of ROP, all the zones are centered around the optic disc. And the zone 1 is twice the distance between disc and the macula is the radius of this zone, and you draw a circle. And zone 2 would be from the peripheral edge of zone 1 till the nasal ora serrata. And zone 3 would be the left out temporal crescent, which is left. This is zone 3. And in case you are having difficulty in telling what is zone 1, use a 28D lens. And in case your rim of the lens is touching is viewing the nasal edge of the optic disc, whatever you are seeing is actually zone 1 ROP. And anything which will be beyond this would be zone 2 ROP. And for zone 3 ROP, you need to depress you need to depress the ora serrata in case the vessels are reaching the uh, 2 cloacas, they are reaching the ora and 2 cloacas nasally. That is the time you say that the avascular area you are seeing temporally is zone 3 avascularity. And once the patient comes to you for screening, you could have avascular retina if the patient has come earlier. Depending on what zone the avascular retina is in, you call the patient for subsequent follow-up. And if the patient comes slightly late, it would be our patient has started developing ROP, it would be stage 1 ROP. There's a definite line between the avascular and the vascular retina. This line does not have any volume. It's just a demarcation, which is a definite structural demarcation. And if we do fluorescein angiography, which is not a must, this is just to make you understand what exactly is zone 1, what exactly is stage 1 ROP. you will see some retinal vascular abnormalities there, some kind of dilated vessels which are seen near the line. This is just to show you, this is the line which does not have volume, which demarcates the vascular retina from the avascular retina. Once this line gets volume, it gets height, it gets width, it becomes stage 2 ROP. In stage 2 ROP, you would have arteriovenous shunt vessel formation is seen, and the patient could have plus disease or may not have plus disease. Then you decide whether he's fitting into type 1 ROP or type 2 ROP. In stage 3 ROP, the fibrovascular proliferation, you see fibrovascular proliferation on the disc and the posterior on the ridge, and the posterior part of the ridge, you would see this fibrovascular proliferation encroaching onto the, infiltrating into the posterior retina also. So this is stage 3 ROP. And in case the patient is still late, or you are not, you haven't treated the patient well in time, it would be go on to retinal detachment. It could be stage 4A retinal detachment, where the macula is spared. You have retina getting lifted up, which is temporally or nasally. Stage 4B would be once your retinal detachment encroaches to the optic disc or to the macular area also, like you're seeing a fold which is going on to the macula here. These are intraoperative pictures. And in case the patients are treated still after treatment, you do get some kind of good result. Instead of having stage 5 ROP, there'll be minimal sequelae. This is traction of the macula after surgery, but still the patient has useful vision. In case the patient is very late, it would be stage 5 ROP. You'll have leukocoria, and the patient would have retinal detachment, which would be covered subsequently by Professor Dogra in his lecture. And the good prognosis is seen only once the funnel is open posteriorly. Aggressive posterior ROP is another thing which you need to identify. Here you have flat intraretinal neovascularization, the vascular roof which can progress directly into stage 5. So these should not be missed. So you look at this flat neovascularization wherever in posterior in zone 1 or posterior zone 2, you are seeing these kind of dilated tortuous vessels. Do not miss out on flat neovascularization. This is another case where you have posterior zone 2 having dilated tortuous vessel. If you carefully see, you have this neovascularization which is flat, and this is confirmed by FFA. But here I would like to highlight that fluorescein angiography is not a must. This I'm showing just to make you understand what are the different stages of ROP. But fluorescein angiography does not give us any diagnosis. The diagnosis comes from clinical evaluation. Then you classify your ROP once you have the zone and stage of ROP into type 1 and type 2 ROP. Type 1 ROP is a treatment requiring ROP. Here it could be zone 1, any stage with plus disease, or stage 3 even without plus disease. In zone 2, you have stage 2 or 3 with plus disease. And referral warranted ROP or ROP which can be kept under close observation is once you do not have plus disease, but you have stage 1 to stage 3 ROP. So you recognize the importance of plus disease. Here I would briefly tell about half zone ROP also. This has recently come up because of saving more and more premature babies. You have zone, even macula is not even formed and the baby is born. So you have to weigh between anti-VEGF and laser treatment, and that probably would be taken up in subsequent lectures. What exactly is plus disease? Once it was initially described, it was described as dilatation of veins and tortuosity of arteries in all 4 quadrants. But then the definition did undergo change. Now we are talking about the plus disease with peripheral retinal features like tortuosity, which are relevant for plus disease. So you need not focus on the small 30 degrees diameter. You have to see 80 degrees picture of the retina to evaluate whether plus disease is there or not. Arterial tortuosity in various studies has been seen is higher centrally, while venous tortuosity is higher centrally as well as peripherally. So there are artificial algorithms, intelligence algorithms coming up, which would help us to quantify this kind of plus disease. But as of now, we have to just have these classic cases. You have to see this is the classical fundus picture, which has been there in ICROP study. And this, if you have this picture in mind, you can diagnose whether the patient has plus disease or pre-plus disease. Pre-plus disease is something which is lesser than plus, but which is more than normal. The tortuosity of the vessels you have to really take care of. It has been seen that once you do wide field digital retinal images, the sensitivity of diagnosing plus disease is 80 to 100%, while specificity is 94 to 96% in various studies. And independent predictors which warrant the referral warranted ROP are plus disease, stage 2 ROP, or retinal hemorrhage in retina. All these warrant the referral warranted. They tell you that it's a referral warranted ROP. Summarizing, dilated fundus examination for preterm babies at risk of ROP with birth weight less than 2,000 grams should be done by all the ophthalmologists, and timely identification of treatment requiring ROP and referral warranted ROP is required here at the level of comprehensive ophthalmologist. So that these babies can be referred timely to an ROP expert, and timely laser or anti-VEGF or surgery can be given, can be done for these patients, which gives the gratifying results. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Subina, for an excellent talk depicting all the stages of ROP.